I find the kitchen to be one of the hardest rooms to keep organized. However, I also think that if you do keep your kitchen organized, it has really big paybacks. You can keep things easily findable, you're not wasting food, you're not wasting money. Hey guys, I'm here in my kitchen and today I'm gonna talk to you about some kitchen organization hacks. Here are my tips for an organized kitchen, and then I will also go over some ideas for where to start if you just have no idea. So the first thing is to keep your dishes right by your dishwasher. That way when you're unloading them, you can just easily put them away. For me, I've got my dishwasher down here and then I put them away up in the cabinet, which is right above the dishwasher itself. And then over here, I put my glasses and things like that. Another tip is to keep items where you use them. Keep items accessible. So for example, I cook on the stove right here, and then I use olive oil while I'm cooking, so I have it sitting right next to the stove. I take vitamins every day. I have them right in this cabinet here so that I don't forget, and I have them right next to the water and right next to my glasses so that they're just very accessible and organized well. Another thing, I've got my coffee maker here, and right above in this cabinet here, I have my coffee and everything that goes along with the coffee maker. The next tip is to store your items that you use every day on your countertop. So for me, that is essentially, I mentioned the olive oil and I mentioned the coffee maker. I also store a toaster and then the bread box because we have bread every day, we use the toaster every day. So think about the items that you use every day and make those the things that you put on your countertops. The rest of the items can be put away because you don't need to see them, you don't need to get dust gathered on them or clean around them. There's no need for them to be out. And speaking of like counter clutter, I also recommend if you have a roll of paper towels in your kitchen, I like to store mine under my kitchen sink, out of sight. I don't like to see them. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can either just like stick the whole roll under there on like a paper towel holder, or you can even mount it under your sink. There are a lot of options for doing that. Some people, if you've got the kind of cabinets that have like the center wood piece, you can even mount them on the back of that wood piece because you don't need to see the paper towels when you open the cabinet. They just need to be there somewhere. Okay, the next tip is to take advantage of shelf risers in your cabinets so that you can use all of that vertical space and the space underneath. Let me show you. I have this shelf riser here. This is just like one example. I have them in many cabinets. Before we would just kind of pile up our plates, but it just was like a tall pile of plates and then you'd have to remove plates to get to a specific plate. But now with the shelf riser, you can put plates and bowls underneath and on top. It just really helps to maximize the space in your cabinets. Okay, so this next tip may be a little bit controversial, but it is to store your pots and pans nested within one another. I have seen lots of organizers. I have tried lots of organizers, and I just think that they take up a ton of space and they don't actually help me organize in any way. So let me just show you what I do. Maybe this will be helpful to you because those organizers look really neat and nice, but they just don't work for me in everyday life. A way to make this work is just like cut it down to the basics. You just have the basic pots and pans that you use rather than tons of different pots and pans. So you can see I just kind of nest these in here. I've got another shelf up here so I can grab this, which I use frequently. I use these frequently, and I just find this to be easier. If this was full to the top of tons of pots and pans, I don't think it would work. But because I just have it down to the basics, this works really well for us. And again, this is stored right next to the stove. Okay, so we're kind of moving all around the kitchen, but the next tip is to store your Tupperware or your food storage containers with the lids on. I know this might also be controversial, but I've been doing this for years and it is life-changing to me. And the reason is I used to lose all of the lids. I would have a ton of mismatched storage containers, but now everything is together. It's neat. I just stack it up in the cabinet. If you've got a drawer, you could do that. This tip helps me. I think it really helps to keep everything organized. Okay, my next tip is to use an organizer for things like saran wrap, cling film, tin foil. I will link the one that I have. This is renter friendly. It's by Joseph, and it just sticks on to any shelf, and then you can go ahead and you just stick your stuff right inside. It holds 4 of them. I used to go digging through my cabinets. I couldn't find the saran wrap. It was very annoying. This has been so much better, so much more helpful. I've been using this for a couple of years now and I love it. And I think this will help keep your kitchen organized. Okay, my next tip is about kitchen towels. I love kitchen towels. I change them every day, but I use them in the kitchen frequently. My tip here is to file fold them. If you don't know what that means, it's just like this. You kind of like fold them so that you can see them all. I have mine in a basket. I stick them under with my pots and pans, but I find file folding them is just a lot easier. And then that way you don't end up using just like the same top ones. You kind of go through them all and then you wear them all down at the same rate. Okay, my next tip is about your cleaning supplies, and that is to keep the cleaning supplies for your kitchen accessible. I keep mine right under my kitchen sink. I have them in a little plastic bin so I can pull it out. But I find that if I've got everything very accessible right here in the kitchen, then I'm apt to use it. If I have to go looking around the house for different cleaning products, then I'm just not gonna clean the kitchen. So I recommend finding a place where you know where they are, they're very accessible, and you just stick them there. This is a very active video. So my next tip is about your drawers. I really like to use drawer liners and drawer dividers or drawer organizers. These are my utensils. I know there are a lot here. Let me just show you what I've got. So this drawer divider, I just picked it up at Walmart. I can link it. They have a ton of different ones. This is bamboo and it's adjustable, but this kind of keeps things separate. I've got wooden utensils over here, metal ones over here, lots of stuff in this drawer. Now, as you can see, I also have the drawer lined with this. I just think it looks neater and keeps things a little bit less likely to move around because this is made of rubber. And so when I open this drawer, things aren't kind of like shifting around. The rubber kind of keeps them in place and it just looks nicer. Okay, my next tip to keeping your kitchen organized is to decant your soaps into containers like these. I have these glass containers. I think they look nice on the counter and they're very cohesive. You can just refill them. The real hack here is I have these silicone trays that these sit in. I think this is great because this blends into the counter. I have a black counter, keeps these organized, keeps these looking kind of corralled and together. But then I can throw this into the dishwasher to keep this clean. It protects my countertops. I really like these. I will link them if you're interested, but I think that makes a big difference. I also have one for my sponge. You can see I keep it like that. Another tip I have is to reuse items to store things. So for example, if you've got like an old crock, you can use that to store utensils. I have an old bowl that I use to put fruit in it because in our house, if we don't see our fruit, we don't eat it. So we have to make sure that it's out on the counter. I've even used an old vase to store sponges. You know, lots of things can be reused. So just think about the things you already have in your home rather than running out and buying like a bin or something like that. Okay, my next tip is about the refrigerator. So let's go over there. Okay, so there are a lot of people recommending bins and things in the refrigerator to organize the fridge. I think those look really nice, but I personally do not find that they are suitable for everyday life. I don't always buy the same things or the same products, so it's not like I'm refilling a bin or restocking it. And sometimes I just find it a pain to have to pull out multiple bins just to get to what I need. So I recommend if you feel the same way, don't go for the bins. Just try to organize your fridge in the way that you use it and make sure that you're rotating through your things and keeping it clean. But the bins is what I kind of wanted to talk about in this hack, is to think twice before you invest in all those bins that you see online. I personally think that the bins maybe limit my flexibility when it comes to what I'm putting in my refrigerator. My next tip is about the deli drawer. So let's take a look if you've got one. If you don't, this is more so about like drawer dividers in your fridge. Okay, so my tip here is my fridge has a deli drawer and it came with this divider and you can kind of move it to where you like it. I love this divider because I can separate certain things from the cheeses. And this just makes a big difference when you're like looking for something in the fridge and you know exactly where it is. So all of our cheeses are on this side and this just makes it really easy to find what we're looking for. Just figure out how you can divide up your fridge and have little sections where you keep certain things, and that way everyone knows where they are. Okay, so my last tip before we move on to where to begin is about using the backs of your doors. I have this door organizer. I think this works really well in the kitchen. I can put it on the back of our basement doors so that we can keep papers and things in it. You can keep whatever you want in it. You know, just try to take advantage of the behind the door space. I also put my kids' artwork behind the doors of our cabinets. I just find that it doesn't clutter up the kitchen. So every time I open up the cabinet, I can see their artwork. Okay, now on to where to begin. I have a few pointers. I think I have about 4 steps that if you don't know where to start here. So step 1 is to walk around your kitchen and look around for the problem areas. What are the common problem areas of your kitchen that you are constantly feeling annoyed by, or you feel like they just look like a mess? For me, it is underneath my kitchen sink. I also often feel that way about the baking supplies in my pantry, and I often feel that way about the cabinet where I store my Tupperware and my mixing bowls. The way you can kind of think about problem areas is, do they just not look good to you? Do they look cluttered? Are they overflowing? Do you have too much stuff in there? That's how you can sort of identify what those problem areas are. And also think about, what items do you use every day but they're not accessible? Like, do you use your cutting board every day but then you have to move 5 things to get to it? Okay, so that's step 1. Now step 2 is you go to these problem areas and you're gonna pull everything out. You need to see what you have. You need to go through everything. Don't do all of it at once. Just do one at a time, because you don't want to like pull things out of all of your kitchen drawers and cabinets and then just have this like overwhelming pile of things. You just want to do one area at a time and get that organized. Okay, and then step 3. This one is the key, and this is to pair like items with like items. This is a critical thing for your kitchen, and this is how you will get it organized. All of your pots and pans, they should all go together. All of your dishes should go together, your bowls, your plates. All of your cups and mugs and glasses, those should also all go together. All of your utensils should be in one area. All of your small appliances should be in one area. Your cutting boards should go along in that one area. Everything of the same type should be stored together, and that will give your kitchen so much more functionality. The same goes with your pantry. I do one shelf for my baking. This is all of the baking supplies. And then I have another shelf. This is all for cooking. I have other shelves for other purposes, but I have them organized by matching like with like. This is the final step. It is basically storing items where you use them. This is one of my earlier tips. If you remember, think about where you use your things and store the items right there. If you are cooking frequently, then keep your cutting board accessible to wherever your food prep area is in your kitchen, for example. Think about the things that you use often and make sure that you can reach them. And the things that you don't use often, those can go up high. You can store them down low. You can store them in the back. These steps will really help and go a long way towards making your kitchen more functional. Okay guys, well thanks for coming along with me in my kitchen, and I hope you found some good organization tips and hacks. Things get very disorganized in a kitchen and things could go downhill very quickly, but you can stay on top of it and you can get it done. I'm gonna link a video up here, so go ahead and click on it and I will see you over there. Thanks for watching.